Hey everyone, this is Chris, and it's been a couple of days since the Twin Cities Marathon. It's actually Thursday, so 4 days after the marathon. So this is gonna be just a quick recap summary of what I experienced, how the course was, support, would I do it again, and all that. So let's begin with the morning of. I actually arrived in Minneapolis Saturday around noon. The airport is south of Minneapolis, right next to St. Paul. So I took a bus from the airport to downtown St. Paul. The big pickup was at the River Center, downtown St. Paul, which it was about a 30-minute bus ride. It wasn't that long, and it cost about $2. And you have 2 hours for the ticket. So it was a pretty good deal. I went to St. Paul, picked up the bib, and they had a little small expo. I picked up some running sleeves and a fanny pack because the one that I had was kind of getting loose around my waist, so I needed something sturdier so I can put my credit cards and my an extra battery for the GoPro, um, and some goos in my phone for emergencies. So I bought that, and then I took the bus back to the hotel because check-in was like I think 4, so it allowed me to kill some time. I checked in. I went to the store, grocery store. I ate a sandwich and picked up some fruit, some pretzels, and yeah, that was it. And then the morning of, I woke up around 5, and the hotel I stayed in, they offered a continental breakfast with waffles, bagels, fruit, oatmeal, cereal, and eggs. So that was great. It worked out. It was from 6 to 9:30. They offered it, so I went there exactly at 6. I grabbed some waffles, a bagel with peanut butter and fruit, and a cup of cereals to go. I took the cereal to go, and I took the bus from the hotel was right next to the airport, all the way to downtown Minneapolis. Actually, I took the train, the metro, but they had some construction going on, so I had to take the bus to the airport where the last light rail stop is, and went straight downtown. So I got off downtown, which is right next to the U.S. Bank football stadium of the Vikings, as you saw in my experience video. So yeah, I arrived. They were giving out water, a whole bunch of porta potties, and a drop off for your stuff on the UPS trucks. So you just had to make sure you had a sticker on the back of your bib, so you took it off and you put it on the gear pickup bag that they gave you, which is a clear plastic bag basically. And the race started immediately at 8. They had the national anthem around 7:50, about 10 minutes before. So I made sure I found the group that I wanted to run into. And I think the fastest group that they had was the 3-hour marathon. So I stayed with them. As soon as the race started, I just was in the back keeping pace, make sure I kept an eye out to not fall too far behind. And yeah, it was great. As soon as hit mile 4 or 5, the pacer was going a little bit too slow for me, especially on downhills. So downhills is where I like to, let gravity takes its course and just move my legs faster. Not necessarily push myself to run hard, but just let it go naturally so I don't tire myself out. But yeah, man, there was so much support during the whole course. There was lakes. I think we stopped around 4 lakes or so. I think we stopped around 4 or 5 lakes near the course on in Minneapolis. So you were just running around greenery. So much support. Almost every mile or so there was a support section area for people to cheer you on. Definitely more support than other marathons I've been to. I think it was more than Portland. I think more, just as much or even more than Vancouver, BC, that I ran in May. And really nice neighborhood areas. Definitely felt safe. There was hydration spots. I think about every mile or two, they would alternate. But they always had water and noon. And I think there was only two or three stations at the very end, like mile 18, where they offered goo gels. They started to offer them. But yeah, as you started in downtown Minneapolis, you run south, you go around a couple of lakes, then you shoot back up towards the campus of University of Minnesota. and then you cross over the Mississippi River into St. Paul. And there was a little bit of a climb there, I think around mile 20 between 20 and 23. Not terrible, and then it wasn't continuous. It would just like it would go up a few blocks, a couple feet, maybe 100, 200 feet. You'll keep climbing, and then it will steady off, and then it will start climbing again. But it wasn't steep at all, so it didn't really tire me out completely. But the last part, about say the half mile mark or so, it was all slowly descending into straight into the state capitol. So as you're finishing, you see the state capitol, big American flag, and it's a very nice finish. But yeah, it was totally awesome. Surprised by how much the support. It's a very scenic one. Definitely one of the best city ones that I've ran into. Better than Honolulu. Yeah, I mean, even though you're in an island, but you're sort of secluded where you're running, so it's not as nice. And then Vancouver, BC, you get to run around Vancouver, so you get the water on the side and everything. Um, and Portland was okay. The scenery is just Portland feels very dirty and grimy, and I don't know if you haven't been to Portland. There's some areas there's a lot of homeless people, a lot of trash everywhere. So you got to run through those areas, which wasn't the greatest part of that race, but that one's well supported. As soon as I finished the Twin Cities Marathon, you get the medal, you get a blanket to warm up. The after snacks were not great. You get your typical banana, and there was a fruit cup, a bag of potato chips, a beef stick, a nut roll. The nut roll were delicious. It's just basically a payday, but it was so good because of the salt. My face was just like covered in salt from all the sweat. Um, and yeah, and it just and I think you also got a free beer. They had a little rip off from your bib that you can go into the beer garden and get a free beer, but I don't drink. Not to say that I don't drink at all. It's just if I don't have to drink, I just won't. So I didn't take advantage of that. Um, but yeah, there was a couple photographers at the end where you could take a picture in front of their sign. And as soon as you walked off the enclosed running area, there were food trucks on the right side. On the left side, there was porta potties. If you walk straight ahead, it was a beer garden. If you walk north to your right, straight ahead to the right side, you can see the area where your bag is for the gear checkup. So you can pick that up. Also, straight ahead behind the beer garden is the state capitol, and they had a sign I think it's for like Brooks Running. Um, and they also had another sign where you can give them your bib number, and they posted your time. You can take a picture in front of it. And then on the far right side behind the food trucks were buses, so they had free shuttles to shuttle you back to downtown Minneapolis, which I did take. uh, but I grabbed some of the snacks that they gave, so like a beef steak and the nut rolls, and I hung out in the big grass area just a little bit to relax. I was a little tired, and I actually, as soon as I sat down, my calf started to cramp, which was strange because I figured it would start cramping as soon as I was down. But um, got some water and everything. Went took the shuttle up downtown Minneapolis, and yeah, not much going on downtown Minneapolis. It's a lot like Dallas. I'm assuming it's just where people go to work, and there's really nothing going on. And I'm not very familiar with Minneapolis, so I can't really say that I got to take advantage of what the city had to offer. But the race was great. Would I run it again? I think I would. Given my time, it was a 2:56:33. I think next time the mistake that I made is this is actually the first one that I've flown to just for a race. Uh, I'm in Seattle, so I drove to the Vancouver, BC one, which is only like a 2.5, 3 hour drive from here. I've driven to Portland, which is a 2.5 hour drive. I did those all on Saturday morning, so I was there around noon or something. Um, and I did the same thing for Minneapolis. I flew. I think my flight was at 8. I arrived there at 1ish. Uh, but the difference is you're like flying. You have to like wake up early. It just takes longer. You're not familiar with the area. Um, and I did run Honolulu as well, but that's where my wife's family is. So we were there a few days before. we just got a hotel for that night, the night before the race, so it wasn't really like a travel one. So and for me, this Minneapolis one just specifically to go run, to fly, to stay at a hotel and everything. This was actually my first experience, and I went by myself. So I think the mistake that I made is doing the day before. I think next time, when I fly for LA, which is in March, and Chicago in October, I think I'm gonna fly at least Friday afternoon, evening, so at least I can have Saturday to relax, get some good sleep, because I wasn't getting enough sleep because I had to wake up early for the flights uh, the night before, and get the jitters the night before the run, and then Monday morning I left early morning. I think my flight was at 6:30, so I woke up at um, like 4:30 or something to make sure I got the free shuttle from the hotel to the airport. It was just not enough sleep. I think I could have done better if I had enough sleep, a little bit more rest. But it was a great marathon, great experience, a lot of support, very supportive people. Nothing negative to say about the race. They other than the after race snacks, I think that was weak. If you want to have a good experience with the snacks, Portland was the best. They offer you free donuts, pizza, beer, popcorn, of course, banana, fruit, and stuff like that. They go all out. They have a lot more vendors for some reason. But yeah, that's the marathon experience for me for Minneapolis. I would recommend running it. It's a very scenic one. I can't say if it's the most scenic urban one yet, as they claim, since this is gonna be my fourth city one. Include Vancouver, Portland, Honolulu, and then this one. So so far, I would say it's the most scenic in-city one, but I still have way more ones to run. I have LA, of course, and Chicago and Boston. Just gotta check the times, make sure that I made the under qualifying time, even though I did it under 3 hours. So yeah, great experience. A quick summary. If you guys have any questions in the comments, I'll reply. I'll tell you everything that I did. As for someone who just went to race, I didn't get to see anything else. I was too tired after the race. I wanted to go to the Mall of America because it was right next to the hotel, and the hotel offered a free shuttle to it. But I was just too lazy. It was just, in my mind, I just wanted to be in the hotel and watch football and just clear my mind. So, yeah, that's my race experience. 2002 Medtronic Twin Cities Marathon. Yeah, thanks for watching the video, and yeah, see you guys in my next one.